Wholesaler negotiations. Now, this is one of my favorite subjects. I love negotiating with wholesalers. I've had a lot of negative experiences in the beginning. The reason I love it so much is because once we have some negative experiences, it gave me the drive to go find a solution to be able to get a great result with wholesalers. So I'm going to share with you some of my techniques, some of the environments that I create that yield me really good results with wholesalers. Now, we always have to just know how wholesalers think versus how we think, and what to do in order to really make help them be the best versions of themselves, because not every wholesaler is going to understand, and have a system for what they do. So they're not always going to be reliable. We might think they should do a certain thing, and the reality is they might do something completely different. So what is our job to do is create an environment where they have to make a decision and they have to give us an answer, so they don't get the opportunity to shop us around. So let's talk a little bit about how we do that. So the first step to really negotiating with any wholesaler is that if you like the deal and you want to buy it, that you need to create FOMO. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. Fear of missing out is, I'm going to make you a good offer, and if you don't accept it, I'm taking that offer off the table. Now, I'm not doing that to be hardcore negotiator, but I only got money for one property right now, and I'm looking at a property up the street, and I can get this deal done. I really prefer to buy yours, but I don't want to take the risk of losing the other one if we can't make a deal. So the question I have for you is that, if I was to get you an offer today, can you make a decision, yes or no? If they say no, then tell me a little more about that. Why, what are you holding up for? What are you waiting on? Most wholesalers, if their house is overpriced, will be like, sure, I can make a decision, because they're kind of desperate to get an offer. The scenario that we really need to use this in is when a wholesaler has actually priced their property aggressively and they're getting a lot of calls and a lot of interest. The reason that we need to be aggressive in this situation is because they are going to be nervous to sell the property at list or wherever they think your offer might be, because they're always going to be in the back of their head thinking that, could I get more? So what I do is I go in and create FOMO, and I say, listen, I know you're probably getting a lot of offers on this, you're having a lot of excitement, and obviously, you think that you could probably get more money than what you've listed it for. Maybe you can, and that's cool. But the reality is, I only have money to buy one property, and I got another one that I can get. I prefer to buy yours if we can strike a deal. But I would need to get a yes or no from you. And they're like, well, I can't give you a yes. We got a bunch of people coming tomorrow, and I really want to wait to see what they say. And I say, look, I know you're just trying to get the most money for the property and make sure you don't leave any money on the table. Let me ask you a question. What number would be so exciting for you to know that you're just like doing a great job, that you know that you would be getting plenty of money, you wouldn't be leaving any money on the table? What number would it take for me to get this deal done with you today? And if they give you a number, what you've established is that they can make a decision. And that's really what we're trying to do. We don't care what the number is. We don't care if it works for us, it doesn't work for us. We're only trying to establish that if given the right number, they can make a decision. Once we've done that, we've actually taken away a big part of how we lose deals with wholesalers. One of the most common scenarios is that we make an offer to a wholesaler and they then slow poke you and go shop you around for a day or two, and in hopes that they can get a better offer and take that. But if they don't get a better offer, they'll come back to you. And the reality is, if they go shop it around and they tell other people that they got 90 from you, well, someone else is probably going to step up and say, yeah, I'll give you 91. And then we end up losing a deal over like 1K, because most of the time they don't have the heart to come back to you and say, hey, I got another offer for 91, will you pay 92? And then if they do, then you're going to end up being in an auction anyhow and paying too much for the property. So this isn't a really favorable position for us. We don't want to leave ourselves in that position. So what we don't do is we don't drop offers on wholesalers and then say, hey, let me know if that works. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to do so. We have to make sure that when we're working with them, we create FOMO and we get commitment from them that they can make a decision if the number's right. That way they don't slowpoke us, and we want to upfront contract them on that. If I was to give you an offer, it made a lot of sense. It's a great offer. You can make a lot of money. Can you get this done? Because we don't want to hear, well, I need a day, or let me talk to my partner, right? We want to know yes or no. Can you make the decision? If they're like, well, I'm not the decision maker, well, who is? right? This is how we have to handle wholesalers, because if we don't, then we're going to find that they're going to do exactly what they love to do, and that's take our offer and try to get their cake and eat it too, shop it around, and then that's not going to turn out for us all that well. So, like we said, time is your enemy with a wholesaler. So, what is the number you can sell the property to me for today? Because the longer that they have your offer, the less likely you are to get it accepted. You give them an offer and you wait a week, well, they probably can find someone to beat your offer in a week if that's their goal, right? They're out there specifically with a mission to find a better offer. Well, if that's their mission, it'll probably likely happen. So don't let that go. And then don't let them take your offer to their partner. So I hear this a lot where it's like, well, my partner, I need to bring it to them, or I need my partner to sign it. Make sure before you make your offer, you upfront contract and talk about, all right, well, listen, if I make an offer to you that's acceptable, is this something that you can make a decision on, or are you working with a partner? If they're like, I got a partner, then what you'll do is you'll say, hey, what number do I need to make you? What offer do I need to make you today? What is the number that you'd be willing to sell the property to me right now? And if they say 92, then you'd say, well, listen, I know you got a partner. Do you want to call and check and make sure they're okay with 92? And if I give you 92, which I don't know I can do it, but if I do, can you guys send me over paperwork like right now, and I'll get a deposit to your title company like this afternoon? And if that's the case, then I'll go and see if I can make 92 work. But if you can't get your partner on board, then I don't want to fight for that number. And so call your partner now. Can you get them on the phone? And we'll three-way them in. You see, I'm taking charge of the situation, right? Let's three-way them in so we can talk to the partner. Hey, partner, does that work? Can we get this deal done? And they're like, let me think it over. I'm like, dude, my offer's here. You got an hour. I'm going to go buy another house in the next hour. So now I'm creating FOMO, because if they like your offer and it's a really solid offer, then their fear would be that if they wait another day or two to try to get a better offer and then don't, they could potentially lose all the profit they would make with you. Now, in some situations this isn't going to work, but I can tell you that of the 11 wholesale deals we got last year, we used this technique and we were able to create this environment in about 90% of them, and it was the reason we got a lot of these deals. Some of my best wholesale deals were ones where someone had it out for $50K and I paid $75K for it, and that person made a $40,000 assignment fee, and then the next day after they signed with me, I made them sign that night because I was $25K over list. But the good news was I knew the neighborhood, and I knew that was a really good deal at $75K. I bought it for $75, I put $80 in it, and I sold it for $260. So this is a really good deal for the neighborhood. So I didn't care they were making a bunch of money. And funny enough, everyone else was offering them like $60 because they didn't want to pay $25K over list. So their greediness caused them to lose that deal. And since I was offering so much more, I was able to lock them into a decision. I gave them the offer at 5, and I called them every hour until 7:30 at night until they got me that paperwork over, because I knew that if we went into the next day or they started telling other people they got a $75K offer, they would entice others to come higher than $75K potentially. So I did get them to sign that same night around 8 o'clock at night. The next morning they got an offer for $10K higher than mine. So this is the key, because when people will never make their best offer, so we want to get a wholesaler to commit to us before they go out and they entice other people to make crazy offers. Because a lot of times people will make higher offers simply because they're competitive. They'll do it, and the deal doesn't even make sense. They'll do it just so you don't win. So we don't want to give them the opportunity to shop our offer. So we always want to put a def date on our offer. When we make it, we want to upfront contract them that we have FOMO. We've got another property we need to buy. We want to make sure that we don't leave them any time. So we want to know what's the number that you can make a decision right now. If you got a partner, can you get a yes or no from them like right now before we do it? Because if not, we can't do this deal instantly, then we're not going to do it. And not to be, and do it in the nicest way, by the way. This isn't about being rude to people. You want to make sure you're doing it, just letting them know, look, I got another opportunity. I only got money for one deal. I'm really only saying this to you because I'd love to do your deal, man, but I totally understand if this can't work. And a lot of times when they really want to get a deal done, they're totally okay. I had one guy recently be like, oh yeah, well, whatever happens, happens. And he called me back 2 hours later and said, I'll take your offer. And it was interesting because I think some of the people from the next day canceled, or maybe talked with his partner and realized that, hey, I was making an offer $4K higher than their list, and he didn't want to take a chance that the other offers would have came in much lower. And then my offer would be gone, because I told him my offer will not be here. If you call me tomorrow, I am going to sign another contract and I will not be able to buy your property. So please, if there's any way that you think you can sell this to me today, let's make it happen because I'd really like to buy your property. And I think you're going to be leaving money on the table if you don't take this first offer that I'm making that's really aggressive. So that's the key. We create FOMO and do all these things, and you're going to start to see much better results when you're negotiating with wholesalers.